I was 3 when my mother died the end of November. Then January 7th, I turned 4. And I think it was January the 11th or something like that that we went to the orphanage. I went in 1932 with 4 of my sisters.
We had actually spent some time at DCCH back in the late 50s and early 60s. Our family, there are 6 of us, myself and then my 5 older sisters.
We went on September 25th, 1959.
I was probably around 10. My dad died, and I had 3 younger siblings. My mom had to go to work, and I was here until I started high school in '56.
Being together was a big issue, and that's why Mom insisted that the 6 of us go there.
We looked out for each other.
There's a bond and a togetherness that came that I think it was forged through that experience, and it's probably one of the more valuable things that I think any of us have in our life.
We have a very tenured, seasoned, dedicated staff. We have a very dedicated board of directors. We have a variety of dedicated volunteers. To our mentors, who are oftentimes a first touch of a positive, loving adult outside of the individuals that the children, encounter while they're here. All of those things have been huge accomplishments and really set out as a point of distinction for DCCH, but ultimately the commitment of the staff and the unwavering desire to help the children.
I was a child care worker and recreation director here, and so worked directly with the kids. It was the best job I ever had. Even going through the years, I always looked back on this place as being something truly special.
I was a surrogate parent for these children. I would take them to the doctors, I would go to their school meetings. Anything a typical mother would do, I would do.
The sisters were so understanding and helpful. It means a lot that I was brought up in the Catholic religion.
Oh, my faith certainly has played an important part in this. I also think I was able to give myself more freely to these children because I did not have a family of my own that I had to go home to. I was with them 24/7.
The children and teenagers that come here, by and large, have seen things and experienced things that you can't even imagine. And a lot of them literally have nowhere else to go. And to have the privilege to be able to somehow try to be there for those kids, I think that's really what keeps everything moving forward.
I wanted to be home, but now I think it's the best thing that probably happened to me. And I was only 9, and there was nobody to take care of us. Who knows what could have happened. So I am very grateful that I didn't just get left to run the streets and get into trouble. It's more important now than ever. If you don't have anybody to care for you and help you along the way, you're going to end up in trouble. And this place is a godsend.
I think because of the nuns being in charge, they were very compassionate, and I've just always remembered that it made it a little bit easier to be there.
The nuns were so very caring. There was a lot of praying, and they did have mass in the chapel now and then, but the nuns were great with what they had.
It was horrible being away from Mom, but it was the best place that we could have been at the time.
We cannot talk about the legacy of DCCH Center without mentioning Mr. Bill Miller. Mr. Miller arrived at the orphanage when he was just 2 years old. As an adult, he would go on to serve as a board member, business manager, and an all-around incredible volunteer. He is truly the embodiment of our mission here at DCCH, which is to really wrap faith, family, therapy, and individual support around every child that we serve here.
My life now is wonderful. I had 5 children with my first husband.
When I had my oldest daughter, she was a year old, my mother-in-law and I went to the picnic and we were playing bingo. And Melissa was in her stroller, a little girl sitting there just looking at her and playing with her. I could tell she must live there. And I asked her if she did. And she shook her head yes. And I said, I used to live here. She looked at me like, are you kidding? You mean you actually have a life after this? I can grow up and get married and have babies. And so I think that as long as they have hope, that there's hope for them for the future. I mean, that made me feel so good that I could relate to her that I had been there.
Every day, something different happens that, to me, just reminds me that this is exactly where I'm supposed to be. I have a big voice, and I want to make a marked difference for the children, for the future children that we're going to serve at DCCH.
I have a real love for this home, and it's I grew up here, not literally, but I was young.
Thank God for this place, because there are kids and families who are getting some help that they deserve.
I most certainly will be involved with DCCH going into the future. It's part of the fabric of my life, and it's touched my heart, and I've gotten so much more out of working here than I ever was able to provide in any of my roles here. So yes, I definitely will continue to do whatever I can to support the mission, support the staff, and above all else, support the kids that need our help so much.